Thanks for all of your participation so far taking this class digitally. I know it's a little bit different. Hopefully, you are doing well with it. I haven't really gotten too many questions from your class. So, today we're going to learn a little bit more about individualization, differentiation, collaboration, and helping all learners and doing that digitally. So, it's April 7th, 2020. Let's get started with class. So, before we really get into class, this is just a general announcement for our last class on April 28th, 2020 at 6 p.m. We're going to do a Google Meet. That's just how we're going to end everything. So I will post the link in Canvas at 5:50 that evening. So 10 minutes before class, I'll post the link to meet all together. So if there's some kind of issue why you won't be able to attend, just email me and let me know. So mark that on your calendar. All right, so if you're watching this, you've obviously gotten to this point. So I'm not going to explain to click on the red Google YouTube icon to watch the directions that you're watching right now. All right, so today's class, we're going to be talking about some different types of learners. Most of the time when we have focused on this, we have focused on lower level learners and using technology to help those learners achieve. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about a different group. So these are your gifted students. These are your students that are above grade level expectations by 2 years or more. So the district or the school that you work for will be the ones that identify these gifted students, but depending on what grade level you teach, actually, I shouldn't say depending on what grade level you teach, you're going to be part of the identification process for this. But you have to understand that not all gifted learners are the same. There's different characteristics of them, but for the most part, they learn at an earlier age and they learn things much more quickly. So some students may need repetition. These students typically do not. But they're not always gifted in all areas either. So those are just some things to keep in mind. Some myths, they're all the same. No, they're not all the same. They're not always the smartest children in class either. Uh, that they don't all need the same experience. So we need to help these learners just as we help our struggling learners as well. They still need your guidance, even though they are very, very intelligent and they are high achievers. You can't just kind of let them go off all on their own. They still need support as well. And then also, this is often what has happened. They'll be used as peer tutors or as student teachers in the classroom. That is not a good use for those learners. Some do's, identify them. If they're not identified, contact the person at your school or within your district to help with that. Assign that content-rich activities. They master content very quickly, so they need to have these these enrichment activities to help them learn as well. Also, group them together. Often what happens for these students is they're grouped with lower students and used as those peer tutors, as those kind of student helpers in the class. That doesn't help them learn. They've already probably mastered the content. That reinforcement does not really help them. And also learn about them and then use some research-based strategies to help them. We'll go over some more of those later in the video. Some things that don't. I hope you're getting the point. Don't use them as your assistant to teach others. That's not helping them learn. It may help some of the other students in class, but it's not really beneficial to those gifted learners. Don't always think they're all well behaved either, especially if you're doing activities that aren't really content rich or that are not that challenging. They may become bored and they may act out. And oftentimes, many of these gifted learners seek a lot of attention as it is. And don't just give them more work, give them more engaging work. Also, you really need to provide that guidance and that support. And remember, just because they're gifted in math does not necessarily mean they're gifted in English. All right, so what we want to do with these gifted learners, support some risk taking, teach them goal setting, and then praise their effort. Because what has been found is many of these gifted learners identify themselves as high achieving. So they then tend to make choices to continue to identify that way. And they don't take risks in learning new things. And oftentimes they'll take less challenging activities because they want to make sure they preserve that. So we as teachers have to help all of our learners, and that includes those gifted learners. All right, so there are several strategies that I'm going to show you today. I'm not going to, in this video, go in depth. If you notice in the top right corner of the slide, there is a Google YouTube icon there. I don't know why I keep saying Google YouTube. We'll just call it a YouTube icon. If you click on that icon, it will take you to a video that explains this slide much more in depth. It's going to be important that you go to and watch those videos because those videos are going to help you with the assignment. So we have goal setting logs, the name card method, compacting and differentiation. This is probably my favorite activity and strategy of the whole group. The learning contract, you can click there for an example. The learning contract is explained in the compacting and differentiation slide as well. So personal interest study project, contract for permission to read ahead. I know several of you are ELA, you are ELA in your student teaching. You probably noticed some of these students, they read so much more quickly. This might be a good solution for that. Extension menus, these are great activities to use in any classroom, especially ELA classrooms. Storyboards, some gifted learners are what is known as twice exceptional. That means they're gifted in learning, but they also have learning disabilities. Storyboards are an excellent resource or activity to use with those students. Cooperative learning. So these are 5 essential elements. Again, there's a video that explains all of this to you. And then heterogeneous groups versus homogeneous groups. What's better for different types of groups, and then clustering groups as well. So watch the videos for each of those slides, and then that's going to take us to our assignment. So choose 3 of those activities, and then write a 1-paragraph reflection about that activity. So why is it beneficial? How could you use it in your classroom? And right here, I have the video links, the PDF links to some of the examples. I also shared all of this in Canvas under the assignment tab. So if you have any questions, as always, please feel free to email me. All right, have a great day.